So getting yourself comfortable, sitting on your mat, arriving here, taking a nice full breath into your nose, maybe bringing your shoulders up to your ears and letting out a sigh. Close your eyes, taking a moment to go inside, checking the landscape of your body. And noticing any tender spots, any tightness, any sleepy areas, and just being gentle with all of those parts of you today, doing what feels right for you. Just noticing the quality of your breath. Maybe as you exhale, allowing your shoulders to relax a little bit more. We'll just bring our hands together here, setting an intention for this practice. Any quality you'd like to bring in, or anything you'd like to let go of. Bring it into the light of the heart and send it out with your next exhale. And then we'll inhale, flickering the eyes open, reaching your arms up to your ceiling, palms come together, and then bringing them back down to the heart. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, settling down. And once more, let's reach up. This time, we'll take the left hand to the right knee, right hand coming behind. Little twist, opening up your shoulders, keeping both sits bones firmly planted on the mat. And then we'll inhale, reaching both arms up. And exhale, taking the right hand to your left knee, left hand behind. And then reaching both arms back up, bringing the palms together and back down to your heart center. We'll let the hands rest onto our knees. We're going to do some seated cat-cows this morning. So as you exhale, sinking your belly in, rounding your back. And then as you inhale, we're going to bring the chin up, chest forward, getting a little arch in the lower back. Exhale, rounding, chin in. Inhale, stretching and expanding. Exhale, relaxing. And doing a couple more like that, moving with your breath. And then coming back to a neutral spine, back to center. We're going to take a nice big circle. So going over to your left and then to the front, over to your right and to the back. Moving again with your breath. As you come forward, you're inhaling, and as you go back, you're exhaling. Bringing your awareness to your core and to your center. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. And once more around, coming back to center, back to a neutral spine. So we're going to do a little breath work, a little pranayama. We're going to do Kalabati breath, or breath of fire. So this is good for kind of igniting the fire within your belly. So with this breath, we're going to just place our hands onto our belly, and we're going to pull the belly button towards the back of the spine. So as you do that, you're going to forcefully exhale. So bringing it in, letting it go, taking a short inhale, and then forcefully exhale. Inhale, exhale. And then you can just make this a little bit faster. Bringing that belly button in towards your spine, activating that core. And then bringing your breath back to a natural rhythm, bringing your hands back onto your knees, closing your eyes, maybe feeling a flood of energy flowing through you. We're going to do one more round of that breath. Now you can either bring your hands back to your belly or just keep them on your knees, making sure your shoulders aren't going up and down. And when you're ready, you may begin. Forceful exhale, short inhale, pulling that belly in. And then bringing your breath back to its natural rhythm, closing your eyes. Again, feeling that flood of energy. They also call this the shining skull. Helps to get rid of any cobwebs that you might have in your mind. Beautiful. Let's bring our fingertips to the mat. We'll take the left arm up and stretching over to your right. Breathing into that space you're creating in your rib cage. And then coming back to center, let's take the right arm up and over. Keeping your sits bones nice and firmly planted. And then coming back and forth, just imagine your little branch swaying back and forth in the breeze. Maybe a blade of grass, tulip. Engaging your core as you do this. Beautiful. Let's come back to center, bringing your hands back down to the floor and back to your knees. And we'll come on to our hands and knees. Doing a little table pose here, getting your wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And today, instead of cat-cow, we're going to do a little barrel roll. So we're going to take our left rib cage over to the left and then hugging it up towards the ceiling, taking it over to the right and down to the floor. So as if you're taking the last bits of peanut butter out of a peanut butter jar. See if you can scrape your rib cage, activating that core, bringing your awareness to your center. And then we'll move in the opposite direction. So to the right, up to the ceiling, over to the left, down to the mat, Nice big barrel roll. Making sure your breath is still flowing. Beautiful. Coming back to center, taking a moment in child's pose. You can let your knees come a little wider, letting your head rest either on stacked fists or all the way down to the mat. Taking a few moments to wiggle in and to breathe all the way up the back body. As you exhale, letting go a little bit more, sinking a little deeper. Beautiful. Let's come back up into our table position. And we'll just take the right toes out onto the mat, stretching out that calf area. Maybe rocking back and forth. Beautiful. Let's take that leg up, engaging your core here. So pulling your belly button towards your spine. We're going to lift the heel up and down. Keeping your breath moving. Beautiful. And then as you exhale, let's bring the knee to the nose, rounding the back. Inhale, stretching the leg out, and exhale, bringing it in. Moving with your breath. Beautiful. Let's do one more. In and stretching that leg out. We'll take the toes over to your left, letting them rest onto your floor and look over your left shoulder. Breathing here. And then we'll bring that right knee in. Let's switch sides. Left toes going out onto the mat, pumping your heel. And then we'll take that leg and bring it up. Engage your core here, being nice and strong. Let's take that heel up and down. Belly button pulling in towards your spine. And then as you exhale, let's bring the nose towards the knee. Inhale out. Moving with your breath. 3 more times. And on your last one, stretching that leg back out, taking your toes over towards the right, looking over your right shoulder. Breathing into the left side of your ribs. And then bringing that knee back in. Let's curl both toes under. Maybe take your wrists a little further away from your body. We're going to come into our downward facing dog. So hips coming up, walking one heel out at a time. Hips rising up a little bit higher towards the ceiling. And then letting your heels settle down towards the floor, head in between your arms, shaking your head yes and no. Hips rising up. Then we'll just take a nice leisurely walk to the top of the mat, hanging out over your hips. Maybe bend your knees here. Grabbing hold of your wrists and rocking from side to side like a rag doll. Beautiful. Let's come back to center. Release your hands. We'll bend the knees and roll ourselves all the way up. Keep your chin tucked until you're feeling nice and stable. Lifting your head, letting your shoulders roll down your back. Bringing your hands to your heart center. Settling into our mountain pose, feeling both feet nice and solid. Then we'll inhale, reach the arms up to the ceiling, palms come together. Exhale, folding back down over your hips. Inhale, coming halfway up, and exhale, fold. Let's stretch the right leg back, bringing the knee down to the floor, sinking into those hips. We're going to reach the arms all the way up to the ceiling, bringing the palms together and letting them settle back down to your heart. So feeling your legs nice and strong here. We're going to twist it out, taking the right elbow to the left knee, left elbow up towards the ceiling, and just pushing on your palms, breathing down into your belly. And then we'll bring our hands back to our heart and back down to the floor. Let's curl the back toe, lift that knee, and then rock that back foot forward again. Folding back over your hips, maybe noticing you're a little bit deeper here. We'll squeeze the thighs to protect the lower back and reach the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. And letting them settle back down to your heart. Beautiful. Coming back into our mountain pose. Taking a breath or two here. And we'll get ready to do the other side. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Left leg goes back, bringing your knee to the mat, sinking into your low lunge. Breathing here. Squeezing those thighs. Let's reach the arms all the way up. Bringing the palms together and back down to your heart center. And let's twist this side, left elbow to our right knee, right elbow up towards the ceiling. See if you can really push into those palms, squeezing it out, twisting here, breathing down into your belly, giving those organs a massage. And then we'll come back to center, bringing your hands back to the mat. Curl the toe, we'll lift the knee and rock that back foot forward again, folding back over your hips. Squeezing the thighs, let's reach the arms all the way back up. Coming back down to our heart center, back into our mountain pose, shoulders relaxing. Breathing here. Beautiful. We're going to sink into an imaginary chair, sinking down, feeling the weight in your heels. Maybe reach your arms out like you're about to catch a nice big beach ball. Letting those thighs get a little warmed up this morning. And then we'll bring the hands back together. Maybe sinking in a little bit deeper, we'll take the left elbow to the right knee, right elbow up. Breathing here. And then back to center. And we'll go to the other side, right elbow to left knee, left elbow up. Breathing. Back to center, and then slowly take those hands up, letting them float back down by your sides. Let's make some loose fists and just gently tapping into our lower back, tapping into our hips, down those thighs, down the calves, and then up the inside of those legs. Good. Let's take the legs a bit further apart. We'll let the arms sway from side to side. Getting loose and relaxed here. Beautiful. Coming back to center. We'll bring our feet back in. Let's see how our balance is doing today. So our core is responsible for our balance. So you might want to have your hands on your abdomen here just for a little bit more balance. We're going to come into tree pose. So we'll start with the right leg as our standing leg and finding a spot to gaze at that's not moving. We'll bring the left toes up, maybe rotate the ankle one way and then the other. See how that feels for your balance today. If it feels okay, maybe open up your knee and set that foot on your standing leg, wherever it needs to be for you today. Feeling that breath moving all the way down into your belly. And if this feels nice and stable, maybe you might want to bring your arms all the way up towards the ceiling, reaching up, growing tall like a tree. Beautiful. Let's bring the palms together and ease them back down to our heart. And then releasing that leg, shaking both legs out. And we'll do the other side. So hands coming back to your abdomen. Left leg is our standing leg. Maybe lift your right foot up and rotate that right ankle one way and then the other. See how this side feels for balance today. Maybe opening up that right knee and setting your foot on your standing leg. Beautiful. And if it feels right, you can take your arms all the way up, reaching up, getting nice and tall, reaching up towards that sunshine. Nice. And then palms come together and let them come back down to your heart. Release that leg, shake it out, and shake the other leg out. I think my kitty wants in. Just one moment here. And we're going to come back to the top of the mat if you're not there already. And coming back into mountain pose, let's reach all the way up to the ceiling. Exhale, folding back down over your hips. Taking a moment to breathe here. Imagine breathing all the way up to the back of your legs and all the way down to your hands. And we're going to take the right leg back, and then we're going to take the left leg back. We're going to come into a plank pose. So make sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders. And if it's too intense, you can always bring your knees down to the mat. Breathing here. Engaging your core. Maybe lift your hips up a little bit. Bringing that navel towards your spine. And then we'll bring the knees down to the mat and lowering yourself all the way to the floor. Keeping your hands where they are, bringing your elbows in towards your body. We're going to peel ourselves up, little baby cobra here, and then lowering ourselves back down. Let's do 3 more like that, lifting up. Imagine there's a silver thread from the top of your head and it's being lifted up, making sure there's no sharp pains in your back. Once more up and back down. And then we'll push ourselves all the way back onto our knees, sinking the hips down to the heels, coming back into our child's pose. Taking a few resting breaths here. And then we'll come back up. Let's swing our legs around, sending them out in front, sitting up nice and tall, taking a moment in staff pose. Hands can rest on your thighs, stacking shoulders over hips, maybe tucking your chin in a little bit, getting a little bit of length in the back of your neck, closing your eyes. Notice how this engages your core as well. See if you can relax your thighs and your legs. Beautiful. Let's open our eyes. We'll bring the right leg in, keeping that left leg out. We're going to reach the arms up, getting nice and long and tall, and then exhale, folding down towards your toes. And then drawing those arms back up. Inhale, exhale, fold. Moving with your breath. And once more, let's fold over that leg hanging out here, letting your hands rest wherever they are. Breathing into any tight spots. And then we'll slowly come back up. Let's bring the right knee up with us. We're going to cross it over, taking the left arm and wrapping it around the right knee. We'll take the right arm around behind us, coming into a nice spinal twist here. Sitting up nice and tall, shoulders opening, hips firmly planted. Sending that life force, that prana, that breath all the way down into your belly. And then we'll slowly unwind. Let's stretch that leg out. We'll bring the left knee in, resting the left foot in the inner thigh, reaching up, and exhale, fold. Moving with your breath again, getting a nice flow happening. And on your last one, hanging out over your leg, hands relax, taking a few moments, breathing into any tight spots. And then we'll slowly come back up. Let's bring the left knee up with us, crossing it over. Right arm around and left arm behind, looking over your left shoulder. Nice long spine, chest expanding, shoulders opening. Breathing here. And then slowly unwind and stretch your leg out again. We're going to come all the way down onto our mat. So imagine you're holding onto a rope. We're going to use the rope to ease our way down. So engaging your core, keeping your breath flowing. And see if you can lower yourself all the way down onto the mat. And then stretch your legs and your arms out. Taking a nice, big, full belly breath in. Beautiful. Let's let our arms float back down. We'll bend the knees. And we're going to lift the feet off the floor, setting our shins so that they're parallel to the mat. Heels are pushing out and toes are pointing up. You can have your hands down by your sides. And let's draw an imaginary line across with your heels and then bringing them back in. Breathing here. Going to your limit and then bringing the knees in. Feeling that core engaging. Beautiful. Let's bring the knees all the way in, wrapping our arms around, maybe rocking from side to side. And then keep your knees in. We'll take the hands behind our head, elbows extending out. Let's stretch the left leg out. We'll bring the left elbow across to that right knee. And then we'll switch sides. Moving back and forth. Breathing here, making sure you're not holding your breath. Beautiful. Let's do 3 more and 2 and last one. Resting your head down, knees coming back in. Taking a nice hug here. Let's send the feet up towards the ceiling, flexing and pointing your toes. Taking your arms up towards the ceiling, let's lift the head, neck, and shoulders up. And we'll bring the arms over to the right, keeping your shoulders and neck off the floor, and then lifting up and over to the left. Lifting up and over to the right, and up and to the left. Once more on each side. Engaging your core here and resting your shoulders back down. Let's bring the feet all the way down to the mat. We'll set the heels up underneath those knees. Hands are down by your sides. You're going to come into a supported bridge pose. So feeling your heels on the mat, maybe lift your toes up. Connecting with your breath. And as you exhale, pushing into the heels, let's lift the hips, making sure your neck has enough room as you push up a little bit higher. Nice full breath into your belly, keeping your knees hip width apart. Holding here. And then we'll slowly lower ourselves back down. Feeling each of those little bones touching down. And then stretching your arms out on either side. We're going to come into our spinal twist here. So letting your knees go over to the right, head to the left. Breathing all the way down into your belly. Allowing yourself to settle here, shoulders relaxing. And then coming back to center, let's take the knees back over to the left, head goes to the right. Relaxing here, allowing your back to relax and unlock. And then bringing your knees and your head back to center. Placing a hand on each knee, let's take our knees into a nice big circle. And then the other direction. And then bringing your hands under your knees, we're going to rock forward and back a couple of times. Coming all the way up to sitting and getting yourself comfortable into a seated position again. Taking a moment, close your eyes. Maybe bring your chin in a little bit. Setting the back of your head up over your pelvis. Shoulders relaxing. Feeling the cool air flowing in and the warm air flowing back out. And then bringing your hands to your heart center. Let's take a collective breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, breathing in and out. May you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.